Hello everyone, it's Mrs. Bedolla here. Today we're going to go through the process of EDS for multi-digit subtraction. EDS stands for expand, decompose, and subtract, and that is exactly how it's going to be set up. First, let's go ahead and look at our first problem. Our first problem is going to be, let's say, 64 minus 29. Now, we're not going to just go straight down and subtract, right? Because we can't take 9 from 4. If you only have 4 apples, you can't give me 9. So we need to change things, and that's where EDS comes in. We're going to have expand, decompose, and subtract. Of course, you could put that down here on a piece of paper. First, we're going to expand. The number we're going to expand is the first number we're dealing with in the problem. It's this one right here. And to expand it simply means to separate it out by its units. So whether it's hundreds, tens, ones, that's how you're going to separate it out. In this case, we have no hundreds, so we're going to go straight to our tens. We know it's 60 plus 4 when we expand it. You'll notice that 60 plus 4 is still 64. So now we're going to move to the next phase, decompose. Well, what number are we going to decompose? We're not going to just decompose 64, we're going to decompose the 60. And the reason for that is that we need a 9 in this position, right? Because we need a 9 on top, otherwise the bottom number could be bigger. So the rule here is to go by minus 1. So it will always be a 9 here. So 60 minus 1 is 59. If I was doing 100 and I minus 1, it would be 99. If I was doing 200 minus 1, it would be 199. Don't get caught in the little trick where you do, oh, 109. I just have to have a 9. Make sure you have, it's actually by minus 1. Then you have to make sure that you still equal the same thing you started with. So in order for it to still be 60, we have to keep that 1. We don't want to lose that 1. And we need it to still equal the 64, right? We're still working with this number here, which means we've got to bring that 4 down. Now that we have it set up, we can do what I sometimes refer to as our elevator. We can take all the numbers to this side and batch them together and pretend that they are on this floor on an elevator. They're not going to the bottom floor yet because we're not there. They're just going to stay in the elevator for the moment. Next, I can actually subtract. This is the number I need to subtract. So now can I subtract 29 from 59? Sure, because 9 minus 9 is 0. 5 minus 2 is 30. But I'm not done there. Don't forget your elevator. This is where our elevator is going to come down to our bottom floor. That elevator is going to bring down our 1 and our 4. At this point, we are just going to combine like terms. By like terms, I mean the same type of unit measurement. So if it's a 10, you're grouping them together. If it's 100, you're grouping them together. If it's ones, you're grouping them together. So in this case, we only have one 10, so we know it's 30 still. But we do have, and you'll notice I like to circle my 10s and underline my ones. You do have 2 ones, so we need to put them together, and 4 plus 1 is 5, giving us 30 plus 5, which of course is 35. This is our answer, which then you can go and add up here to your problem. So I just gave you a lot of information. So let's go through it again. We'll review the things that we need, and we'll see how it works for different numbers. In this case, we will do 102 minus 88. Again, we can't take our 8 from our 2, so we need to find a different way to do it. So we are going to expand, decompose, and subtract. We're going to start by expanding our top number, right? So expanding it is going to give us 100 plus 2. You'll notice I don't have anything for my 10s there. If I wanted to make sure I don't skip a space, could I put 100 plus 0 plus 2? Sure, wouldn't hurt anything, and that way you're sure you don't miss that spot that you need to put in there. Now let's move to decomposing this number. Remember, we're doing our magic number 1. We're going to subtract 1 minus 1 from this number here. Now, again, make sure you're actually minusing 1 and that you're getting both those 9s in there when it comes to your hundreds. Then you have to add that 1 back in. Don't forget this little 1 I'm subtracting over here has to be added back in. And then, of course, we don't want to forget the rest of our numbers up top. So we have 99 plus 1 plus 2. So 100 plus 2 is still 102. 99 plus 1 plus 2 is 102. So we know we're good there. So now we're ready to subtract. Put my elevator in there so I don't forget I have to bring it down. And we can subtract our 88. Extend my line, again, to remind myself not to forget that elevator, because these are gonna have to come down. Now we're gonna subtract straight down, and we have 9 minus 8 is 1. 9 minus 8 is 1. Now I can bring down my elevator. So there's 2 ways you can go here. If you are more comfortable working with the separate parts, you can still separate this 11 out to 10 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2. Or you can keep it at 11 and then just add your 1s in. It's up to you. In this case, I only have 1 in my 10, so I'm going to include that there. I'm going to combine my 1s, which would be 2, 3, 4. And of course, 10 plus 4 is 14. And my answer is 14. So that gives you a little bit of idea, moving up a little bigger numbers, same exact process. The things that you mostly want to remember is that when you come to this decomposing part here, you don't want to forget this 1 that you took out. You don't want to forget your elevator, and you have to remember you have to have a 9 there. So we're going to go an even bigger number now. We'll do another one. So let's say we were dealing with 214 minus 168. And you can come up with these on your own. I'm not figuring this out in my head while I'm putting it up here. I'm simply just putting 2 numbers down, but I do make sure that when it comes to my 1s place, that the number on bottom is bigger. It doesn't have to be. You can do it the other way as well. This just always reminds me that that's why we're doing this process. So again, EDS, expand, decompose, and subtract. So we're going to expand that top number. This time we're going to have 200, our hundreds place. Then we're going to move to our 10s, plus 10, and last but not least, our 1s. So 200 plus 10 plus 4 is the expanded form for 214. They equal each other. Now we're going to move to decomposing. And to decompose, again, this number, we're using this one. We're subtracting our 1 and making sure our 9 is here. In this case, it'll be a 99 because we're in our hundreds. So 200 minus 1 is 199. Add that 1 back in there. Don't forget that 1. Don't forget these either, though. These have to come down as well, right? So we have plus 10 plus 4. Now we can hold that whole thing in our elevator. We don't have to do anything with it when we start our subtraction. It's going to stay in our elevator. Then we're going to come back to our problem to find what we are subtracting. In this case, 168. Make sure that you line these up correctly. If you come in to put your subtraction sign and your line in and you shift it, you can mess up your actual subtraction as you go through it. And then your numbers won't, when they don't line up, you don't get the right answer. So make sure that you are lining it up together. Your 1s to your 1s, your 10s to your 10s, your 100s to your 100s. If you need to put lines in between to help you do that, to make sure that you're in the right spots, that is perfectly okay. So let's look at our subtraction. 9 minus 8 is 1. 9 minus 6 is 3. And 1 minus 1, of course, is 0. So now we have 31. But we're not done. We have to bring down our elevator. And based on this elevator, I know I have to put a plus 1, plus 10, and plus 4. I'm going to go ahead and separate this out to 30 plus 1. I like my zeros. Then I'm going to add the rest. Plus 1, plus 10, plus 4. In this case, I'm going to be combining a little more, right? So I'm going to circle my 10s. I'm going to underline my ones. I want to make sure I don't miss any numbers. We don't want to forget any. We don't want to feel like, hey, I got this part done. I'm good. I figured it out, and leave it there because we didn't get to the answer yet. So we want to do it this way. We want to say 30 and 10 we know is 40. There's our 10s. Now we have to do our ones. 4, 5, 6. And 40 plus 6 is 46. And there is our answer. So it can seem a bit confusing, but once you've done it a few times and you just remember the process, it's all easy steps that we've already done. There's nothing too complicated. You're not having to regroup in any way. You are simply expanding, decomposing, and subtracting. So go ahead and try a few of these on your own. Come back to the video as many times as you need to walk through and see what I do from step to step. The key elements to remember, of course, are that you need to subtract 1 on your decomposing, and do not forget to put it back in. Your elevator always has to come down. Those are the things you want to make sure you don't miss in your steps. All right, well, good luck. And if you have any questions, of course, leave a comment or a message there for me, and I will make sure I answer any questions you have. Have a good day.